I'll just let you know that you are cutting in and out. So guessing what you're saying. But I think the last bit was about the art therapy, transpersonal art therapy and the holistic counselling. Yeah.
It was.
So I have been a holistic counsellor. I think I did that in 2001, and a transpersonal art therapist. I graduated in 2007. I don't do the traditional, really one-on-one art therapy. I facilitate art groups, and I do it by what I call by stealth. So they're not even knowing that they're involved in art therapy. It's the words I speak, that getting them to talk about their artwork and the feelings that it's actually bringing up for them, or if they're not feeling 100% when they come in, because I work in the field of mental health. If they're feeling down and I get them to do some artwork, talking to them, and how has that changed? What's the energy? So I combine it with a lot of energy kind of work very much. For me, being creative is changing the energy. So the way you start when you draw is never the way you feel when you end. For me, I'm always feeling so much euphoric and just so happy. And that's where I use the art therapy kind of, as I said, by stealth. So it's not coming in and going, today we're going to do this process. The art therapy is within the processes that we do. So, yeah, I love
it. So that's really cool. So it's less about, because I guess my idea about therapy was you work through a situation. So you're doing that more holistically, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and that's the thing with art therapy. There is such a long and big continuum of art therapy. You've got from the art making, so the craft area, up to the psychosocial art therapy. They go in and they're looking at complex trauma and a lot of things like that. I don't work on that end. I leave that for people who've done a lot more study than I have. So I don't do a lot of one-on-ones, and if I do, it's not the heavy, complex traumas. I do the groups where I want them to see their potential. I want them to feel what their art's doing for them, and seeing the smiles on their faces when they achieve something that they never thought that they could achieve.
Yeah, that's like
on Wednesday afternoon, because I run an art group on a Wednesday afternoon and an outdoor one on a Friday morning at a mental health service called Diane Collett in Baronia. And we had the arts out, the art supplies out, the paints, but no paintbrushes, because I brought in nature. The morning's walking group collected twigs and leaves and stones and little, buds off trees that had fallen off, and they had to create their own paintbrushes. And when they found that they could do a picture with sticks and leaves and little spiky nuts that had fallen off the tree, it just changes them, that because a lot of them have come in and they feel low, or they don't feel like they're succeeding, or they can't draw, they can't do this. But when they do something as simple as that, it changes the energy for them. And that's where I get my joy, is seeing that they see that they can do something, so they can experience it. So, yeah.
That's cool. I know when we were talking before, you were talking about, people coming to it with anxiety and esteem issues. I don't know if you could talk a little bit about
Yeah, so when they speak in the art room, because I'm a mental health support worker as well, I don't know a lot of their issues, so it's not the issues that are coming in. The only time I need to know if there's issues, if it's behaviours of concern, so you need to have safety. But they will come in and they want to be perfect. They and it's like, you don't say perfect. There's a couple of words, and some of the people have been with me for over 10 years, and where I've moved, they've come as well. And there's a couple of things in my groups is we don't say perfect, because what's in our head is never going to be on the paper, unless you are a ultra talented, realism drawer and artist. The colours don't mix the same as what you see in your head.
absolutely.
Yeah, well, they say they can't, and I've gone, well, you can. We've just got to have a go at it. And I have such a good group now that if someone says they can't, I'll talk to them and go, yes, you can. That they will take up and they will tell them that, yes, you can. Let's just have a go with it. And that's what it is. Because for me, just them being there, coming out of the house, will be enough. That's their achievement for the day, coming out of the house and becoming in a group. So they can either join in with our process or they can sit and do their own art project. But we're all in it as a community. I try and create a community there.
Yeah, like you said, just the fact that they've come out of the house and they're joining in something and being around other people.
Yes,
that can be a major thing.
Yeah, often they'll say, I just don't feel like doing art today. And I've gone, well, just come and sit with us. And then within half an hour, they're doing art. I always place pencil. I've gone, just draw, just put some colour on the page. What do you feel like? Pick the colour that you feel like. Yeah. And so do it. And then I'll go, well, what will make that colour soften? Or what colour would make you feel better? So circle that around it. And so they do that and then they go, oh, I like this. So then they go on and create more. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. And it sounds so gentle.
It is gentle. But as I said the other day, is that I can traumatize them in a jokingly way, because I talk to them about different processes that I've done with groups over the years, like getting everyone to start drawing a picture for 5 minutes and then asking the group to pass their pictures to the person on the right. And, of course, if you've got anxiety, they're all looking at me going, no. And I'm going, yeah, it's been known to be done. Or they can't understand how I can paint over a picture. And as you know, in your Dream Big, Paint Big, I paint over my spider, and I show them each week what I've been painting, and they share with me what they've been painting. And I told them that I was painting over this beautiful spider, and they just could not believe it. But then they asked me to talk to them about how I feel about painting, and then they go, oh, I think I've got too much attachment to that. And so then we talk about what's attachment, why is it special for you. So yeah, everything comes out of the art. It's a great conversation starter to move on to more serious subjects.
Yeah, so what was your journey to becoming an artist?
I still have trouble with that word for myself, which is quite funny, isn't it? I was always crafty as a kid, and my grandmother taught me to kind of paint, and I did embroidery. And I was always one that had kind of, that cupboard full of half finished things. So, and then I did 25 years, 25 years of payroll. So I was right into corporate, as far as corporate goes. Then I went part-time, and then it's those journeys. I was going back 20 years. Yeah, probably 20. When I got married and we're trying to have a family, and that wasn't successful. It's that you meet people. So I met a naturopath, and she was a Reiki master, and then that journey, and that opened back up I got into Reiki, and then that opened my creativity again. And then I was doing payroll part-time then, and I'd been looking at this art therapy course, but it never worked because it was a 12-month course, and it was like um, 3 to 4 days a week for 12 months. But I got retrenched from my job, and I went home, and in the mail, this is when we got things in the mail and not on email, they were doing the intakes for the following year, and I'm going, oh. And so it all just aligned, and so I didn't work the next year. I went and did the art therapy, and that reinvented my love of creating. So,
yeah, it's like it was meant to be.
It was, yeah. And I do this exercise with some of my clients, is finding the 3 things in your life, or 2 or 3 things in your life that bring you joy, but also bring you balance. So there's lots of things that we do to bring ourselves back into balance, but there's 3 things for me. One is eating well, the other is meditation, and the other is creating. So if I'm out of balance and I'm not doing too well, and I have those days, I can usually look back and say, oh, I'm eating crap food. I haven't meditated for a while, and I actually haven't been creative for a couple of days. And so I can see a pattern. So those are the 3 things. If I want to be level and balanced and living joyfully, I need to have those things in my life. Other people, like I have a girlfriend, and hers is being out in nature. She needs to be in nature, otherwise she's fine. And I think it's important that we find our couple of things that are our constant, that keep us on the level. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. When you're talking about that, create for a, 4 or 5 days, I become unpleasant to be around. Not horrible, tetchy. And even my as well. My staff, well, yeah. But I'm going to bed too late. The others.
Yes, I missed that last bit. Sorry.
Yeah, going to bed too late. Or bad eating.
Yeah.
So, what lights you up right now? What are you interested
in? Lighting me up right now is actually doing painting, because often I'll probably be creative each day, but I'll just do little things in a journal. But I've been doing a mentorship, and it's like we're painting like big paintings and planning them out from reference right through. So it's been different, because I'm usually an intuitive artist. I go to the painting and I don't know what I'm doing. It just appears. But this is the other form. This is starting from a reference and then moving through and painting it, seeing the background, midground, foreground, working out your colours. So it's really quite a little bit structured for me rather than just putting it on. But it's kind of, I need to pull from both worlds, because it's like, I know I'm not a drawer, so so getting a reference material is really hard for me to draw that on. So it's pulling from using those guidelines, but actually pulling my intuitive painting in as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I do feel it's a good idea to learn more than one painting. And although you might not adopt, you maybe take little bits
Yeah.
and tips.
Yeah, because I've never been trained. I'm just self-taught. So it's nice to have Shani's technical knowledge, and just, it's again in the group. It's like our Sunday morning one. This other group is just so full of supportive women. We're all creative. We've got some beautiful, you know, some beautiful artists in there, and it's really taught me about not comparing myself to others. So
That's really good. Yeah. What do you think is the benefit of having that sort of community?
I think it's not even, because we're all on Zoom, and it's not even the closeness in the room. It's just you can feel the energy of the support. And if you're having a bad day, because, I've been known to have some tears, because you don't have to be in a therapeutic setting for creating and painting to bring up and to trigger something in you. Or you look at someone who's painting, they say something and they trigger something in you. But I also believe that you can only get triggered when you're in a safe environment, and the people there will hold you while you have your mini little breakdown, or be able to speak what's happening to you. And I think that's what I love about community, and especially the creative community, is they get you, because I'm lucky I get contracted to go and into places and run groups. But otherwise, I might be just a business owner at home by myself and not going out and having adult conversation except with my husband. So it's another way to that connection, and just message people during the week. If someone, I know when I've had a breakdown, I've got messages during the week to make sure I'm okay, and it's nice. I think we all need that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the community aspect is super important, because as artists, we can be quite insular. And also, your art community might not be where you live.
Yes.
So for me, the online world is super important, because it means I can connect not just with artists, but with, like you mentioned, healers, other to do meditation. For me, that's all connected with the creativity. Yeah.
Yes, I think one of the things that has come out of, like, probably the last 2 years is that connecting with people, anything is possible now. We don't have to do it in a hall and be together. That we can quite easily paint on a Sunday morning for 2 hours with people across the world, and feel that connection. and get feedback and have a laugh, dance around with our music. And it's just starts your day off. And just knowing that you can do that is it's heartwarming. Yeah,
Yeah.
that you can.
Yeah, and for me, the Sunday morning classes, it's super special and nothing gets in the way. It's like
Well, they must be special because it gets me out of bed at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning, and I'm not known for being an early riser.
sorry about that. What does being an artist mean to you?
It, I don't know what if it's mean or what it gives me. It gives me the freedom to express without having to use words. That I can put something on a painting and I know the meaning, but no one else might. And I can use so many materials, but it's it's just it's so inner. I think it's everyone has it's just how we bring it out, and it's a real freedom for me. And I know that I get on myself and I play the, oh, well, that's not good enough. But it's also that learning tool. But it's a freedom to get there and just put paint on and then go, you know what, I'm just painting over this. So for me, it is a deep knowing of myself, I think. I've learned so much, especially over the last probably 5 I did Whitney's course. It showed me the deeper meaning for me. It was my two loves, and I used to do because I'm passionate about meditation and art. But she showed me how to weave it together.
Yeah. I was going to ask you about the meditation because you actually run meditation courses.
Yes, so I run a meditation teacher certificate course, but even in there, I teach them to use art in meditation. For me, art grounds my meditation. So I always have pen and paper for when I finish meditating, and I will do colours or a quick drawing to ground into the here and now what has happened in my meditation. Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
Art goes anywhere with you. You know, if I'm going on holidays, I think of what art supplies am I going to take.
That's me. The first thing I think about is how much baggage allowance have I got and how much art supply can agree with.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've
So
got it down.
can I ask you what tips have you got for new artists?
Oh, to have fun, to not take it so seriously. It's not about the perfect brushstroke. It's about learning the colours and having fun playing. And I recommend to start with is not even having like a reference like that you're looking at. It's like put your colours out and just play. Just do abstract for a while. And
Yeah.
and then you might do silhouettes over the top of it, but not to get so, and also not to copy perfectly off a photo because that's not your work. That's unless you've taken the photo. But if a lot of people will pick up a book and see a forest, and I've gone, well, that's not technically their work from start to finish. Or if they go and do a course somewhere, put their own take on it.
Yeah.
Don't get caught up in wanting to do each step exactly the same as a teacher, because you're not them. Bring yourself into your own art.
That's true. And the thing with that is that once you leave the classroom, if you're not following the teacher, then you still can't paint. If that's what you've learned is follow the teacher, how do you then go and create your own art when you're by yourself?
Well, that's it. And that's where I had trouble when I got back into it, was I'll go and do all these workshops and then I'd come out and go, oh, I can't remember what they were doing or how they got that. And I was too stuck on trying to my picture to be their picture. And it's like, but I don't draw like that. Finding your style, I think that's it. And try different things. Try expressionism, try realism, try all these other ones to see, and you might be a mash of everything together. One of the things I've just learnt lately is underpainting. So having a one colour underneath and little flashes of that come through. And I hadn't seen that before. And I fell in love with that because, of course, I've got neon pink coming through a lot of paintings. But, yeah, doing your own research too. And there's so much now that you can find on YouTube and that, especially colour theory.
What was that last bit? I didn't quite hear.
Especially about colour theory. I think that's important to learn a little bit about colour theory, and there's so much on YouTube and that you can go on, and it doesn't cost anything, but it's fun playing with colours, because we get caught up, and I know I've been guilty of that, of going and buying a tube of the colour I want instead of trying to mix the colour I want, and that's fun. I've got right back into mixing colours lately, so which is good.
Yeah, I really enjoy colour mixing in that. It's like you've created something magical, something new that you could get on the shelf.
Yes, and tip to artists is when you're colour mixing, write it down, because if you want a big batch of it, if you're doing a little batch, you can never remember what you actually put in there. So if you write it down, you can go back to it.
That's a very good point.
It's worse than running 3/4 of the way down, you run out of paint, and then you can't mix the colour again.
Yes, I've had that happen. The last question I was going to ask you, what mistakes do you think you've made along the way that
some of the things, and this is through all my crafts and art as well, is kind of not taking photos of steps as I go along, because with the way I paint, I have, like with the wings that people might be able to see behind me, there's like 10 or 11 layers under there. There's like 10 other pictures under there. There's all these animals. And so I didn't have a record of them. I'd forgotten to take them. Yeah, and it all comes back to fun again. Just have fun. Don't take it too seriously. There's so much serious stuff in the world that we can't control. Do you really want to be stressed out over your canvas when you're meant to be bringing joy and laughter into your life? Is that, as I say to the participants, is unless you tell me, I don't know that wasn't meant to be that colour. I said, you're the only one that knows that. everyone else looks at it and goes, oh God, I love that. I said, so let it go. I said, just go, it looks good, so let it go.
Mm. No, that's a really good tip. I think that get hung up on the fact that what people mind, not what people secret.
No. And as I say, you've always got black paint. Go over it.
That in itself is brave. Anyway, if people want to get in touch with you or find out more about your courses and your art, where do they go?
I have a website which is Soul Journey with Diane, and that's one N in Diane.com.au.
Could you just speak that one out a bit? Do you want to say that again?
So it's souljourneywithdiane.com.au, and it's Diane with one N. And at the moment, my website's in a bit of, I've been in a bit of lux the last couple of months. It's like trying to work out where I'm going when I grow up. In the second half of the year, I've got some art programs I'm putting online. At the moment, I'm getting my meditation teacher's certificate course online onto a learning platform. So that's kind of taking all my time. But if they want to, they can go to my website and they can sign up for my newsletter, which I try to get out every now and again, and that will give them all updates. So, but then they can also email me at info@souljourneywithdiane.com.au.
Perfect. Thank you very much for bearing with me today with all the technical issues, and I hope the feedback is not too bad on the final recording. Or we may have to do this again, which would be fine.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I always love hanging out with you.